we're going to paint a nice mountain scene today, wet on wet oil paint. But first we're going to just sketch in with a little bit of a pencil, roughly where our mountain is going to live. Just about there. We're going to have a lower horizon around about there, so about quarter way up of this 18 by 24 inch canvas. About there. A little bit of a lake, because we like water, don't we? And a little bit of something in the foreground, some stones and some of those nice trees you've been seeing me paint on the shorts videos, which are doing quite well. So we'll just sketch in a little bit there, and once we're happy with the sketch, loosely, something like that, tree there with some branches and all that lot, I'm going to get a little bit of acrylic paint. Now this is just burnt umber and carbon black acrylic paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint the mountain in, just the underside, okay? We are going to use oil paint, so don't worry about that, but I'm just going to paint basically the mountain in, okay? Just paint it in, and this is going to act like our first layer of mountain colour, if you like to call it that, okay? Because I found, and I'm sure you guys have found as well, when you're painting and you put liquid white on and then the blue colours for the sky, and then you try and paint a little bit of a dark undercolour for your mountain, you've got at least 3 layers of paint already on, and your paint sometimes doesn't break when you're applying the highlights and the shadows. So this is one way I've found of eliminating this. Is you could use black gesso. You can even skip this process if you so wish. But for now, just let's scrub in some of this acrylic paint. So with the mountain all undercoated, we're going to leave that to dry. But I thought, since it's got a nice browny, blacky colour on, we could just, where we've sketched out as stones, with the acrylic paint, we could just use that as well. It's a perfect trick to achieve perfect stones and mountains, this. You could even sketch the whole painting in, if you wish, with this kind of technique. Just, it's like a mixed media, but of course, we're going to hit it with wet on wet afterwards, some liquid white, and lots of beautiful colours from the oil paint. So pick out a few stones, and again, we're not committed here because we could change our mind mid-flow. We could just paint over the whole thing if we so wish, but I want a couple of stones in this, so why not throw in a couple of stones right now, and I'll let that dry completely. Doesn't matter, that's nice and dry. Okay, so what we can do is pick up a little bit of the liquid white. Okay, we don't want much, but just enough to cover the top half. We're going to leave the mountain. We'll put some down here, but we'll just throw in a little bit, go over your little sketch. And of course, it's acrylic paint, so it's nice and dry. And of course, your primer on your canvas is just a kind of an acrylic paint, so don't worry too much about that. Cover the whole thing in this very thin layer of liquid white, or you could use linseed oil and titanium white mixed. You could use clear gel and white, magic white. You could just use linseed oil by itself, you know, just as long as it's nice and slick and wet. Okay, one dip has done the whole top part of the canvas. Okay, and let's do some down here. Okay, so we'll just put a little bit down here, and you can see I'm going into the mountain and over the tree. Doesn't matter too much, just as long as we get a little bit of liquid medium down there, so when we create the mist, it's a little bit easier for us. Okay, we want easy things, don't we? We like easy times. We don't want to tow ourselves to death. Okay, and maybe just grab a touch more, just running out of paint there, so we've got something on the water like so. Now I would clean that brush, but I might use it again later, so I'm going to pick up the palette, my little baby palette. Okay, and I'm going to grab another 1-inch brush. Okay, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of blues. Okay, a little bit of blue and white mixed. There we go, and I'm just going to hit the canvas right at the top, start at the top, go all the way across and tease it down. Okay, and I'm going to intentionally leave some open spots. Then we get a bit of a variant in the sky. When we get down to the horizon line, there'll be less paint on the brush, and there'll be more liquid white. Well, it'll be mixing more with the liquid white, should we say. Go over the mountain as well. It doesn't matter if you hit the mountain at this stage. Okay, just like so. Now, to add some variety in that, I'm just going to take a little bit of the blue, a bit more of the blue there. Okay, and just put a little few humdingers up in the sky, usually at the corners. Okay, darken off the corners a little bit. Okay, and then I might even grab a touch of the crimson, just the tiniest amount of crimson, right on the corner of the brush. Okay, and just throwing a little bit of a purpley spot just here and there. Just touch them in. Okay, just a bit of a purpley spot. They'll go away when we come to blend, and I think we're about ready to blend anyway. So get rid of the brush, get a big one, nice and dry. Yes. Okay, and I start down at the base. Okay, so I start off at the base of the sky and I work my way up. Nice and firm pressure, really get tough with it, really push the paint around. Remember, there's very little paint actually on the canvas. You just want the staining, and that's where you get good quality paints from. If you get a good quality paint, the stain will stay with you. However, much of the oils and stuff will go away. Okay, so just blend that till it's nice and soft and gentle. Now I will have to put a cloud or two in this because I made the obvious mistake of making a big branch when I didn't want a big branch. Okay, but that's no problem. We can do that. Okay, just go all the way across. Like so. There we go. Nice little red spots in the sky, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of nice atmosphere created. Happy days. Okay, in fact, let's grab that brush again. We've got that colour up in the sky. We're going to have it down in the water, aren't we? So a little bit of that crimson and blue and lots of white just down in the water, yeah? Okay, maybe grab a bit more of the blue and white. And we're not committed again. We're still not committed because we can go over this at any point we want. Okay, just leave that there. Nice and streaky. Just how we want it. Okay, maybe tease that together as well. Just like that. How easy is that? Happy days, yeah. Happy days. Okay, let's work on a cloud or two. So I'm going to pick up a fan brush. Get rid of the brush. Pick up a fan brush. Let's use this one. Okay, I'm going to go into a bit of white. Just a touch of white. Okay, and I'm going to grab the tiniest touch. Burnt umber. Just the tiniest touch. Brown it, grey it off. Okay. Peach it off, really. Alright, now I'm going to just use the corner of the brush. And I'm just going to scrunch in a little cloud or two. Okay. Usually over that big boo-boo I made there. Okay, but don't worry about it. A little bit more paint and put it just right up in the sky, wherever you want the clouds. Okay, and they're not going to be big, massive storm clouds. I've done too many of those lately. Just nice little wincy, fluffy, floatery sort of things that live up in the sky, looking over this mountain. Beautiful view, okay? And you can even tease the base of that with the fan brush. Less paint on the brush, just nice and steady like that. Crazy, isn't it? How easy that can happen. How easy you can create a cloud just like that. Happy days. And don't leave this one out. This one wants to be painted as well. So we'll paint him. We'll paint him in. There, like that. Okay, we'll grab the big brush. Just give it a beat. Just knock off any massive lumps of paint and just tease these clouds into the composition. Okay, there you go. You don't want to use bright white, or I don't prefer to use bright white, because we can always go lighter if we need to. If we put white on there straight away, I mean, it's not going to stay white because we've got blue and purple on the canvas, but you don't want to be going crazy, do you? You want to give yourself some some wriggle room. Okay, right. Swill off the brush. Okay, I think it's about time we worked on these mountains. So let's pick up the palette knife. Now, where's the light coming from? I prefer to paint trees with the light coming from the left-hand side. Okay, but I also prefer to paint mountains with the highlight coming from the right-hand side. So mountains win, I think. Now, up here, I've got a little bit of a dirty peachy browny colour, if you can see that. It's got a little bit of white and umber and lots of other things in there because we're going to paint some rocks on there. So we're going to grab some of this little roll of paint. Now, look how easy this is going to be because this is relatively dry. Okay, it is dry. The acrylic's dry. We can just put a little bit on and it instantly breaks. It instantly breaks, and there is no need to apply massive amounts of pressure. Just a little roll of paint touches the canvas, just like so. Yeah, like that. We will put a little bit of a highlight on top of that as well, a little bit of snow, but look at that. That piece of the mountain just come alive, hasn't it? Okay, and again on there. Now, what you don't want to do as well, what I seem to have found, and especially in the early days of painting, is a cartoon outline of the mountain. Go just slightly above the dark area. Okay, just slightly above it, and that way you will get a nice, more realistic mountain. If it's got a big black dark outline, then we don't know what we're doing. It's like we're doing cartoons, and we don't want to do cartoons. We want to do realistic, nice looking paintings, don't we? We've got a little bit around there, like so. Most of this is going to be in shadow, that part, so we'll just put a little something there. Okay, now we can lighten the colour a little bit. Okay, grab a bit of white, same colour, bit more white, keep getting purple in that, but that don't matter. We've got it in the sky, so we might as well have it on the mountain as well. So we've paled it off a little bit more. Okay, just paled it off a little bit more, a couple of shades. Okay, because I'm just going to do this one. This one could be far away or behind this mountain. So just a little bit of a lighter sneak in there, like that. Right. Maybe less detail. Maybe. But we shall see. There, like that. So it's a different colour. Slightly lighter. So it'll give the impression that it's further back. That distance that we all like to use. Depth and distance, okay? And don't worry about this lump here. That was something that we're going to cover up with some foliage, all being well. There, that's one far away. Okay, just take it down into the mist. There, like that. Beautiful stuff, beautiful. Okay, now we can go into, just let me get rid of some of this. Get it on there. Now we can go into some shadow stuff. Okay, so take a bit of the blue. What I'm going to do is pale it off a little bit more. In fact, it's grabbed a bit of that crimson in there as well, so it's got a nice purpley colour, which is a bit crazy. I really should have cleaned the palette. Really should get a bigger palette, yeah? I don't usually use palettes like this. I usually use a palette down here on the table, but today we're doing it. Okay, little roll of paint just out on the edge of the knife, and again we just touch, and this easy. In fact, we might sneak a little bit of shadow work down there. This easy, we have created all those kinds of shadows, all those kinds of, just drag it through there like that. There, and of course this is not the first colour. We're going to put another one on top of this. Okay, but I just want to get something in like that. Okay, carrying on this one as well. And if you can't sneak it in, use either a different type of knife or the smaller edge of the knife, or just, you could even paint this in. You know, I've done many mountains where I've used a paintbrush, and that is epic. You can do that. You can definitely do that. A little bit of shadow work in there. Bring it down a little bit, maybe grab a little bit more. And don't rush these things. Don't rush at all. You can take just take all day, you know. I know wet on wet painting is meant to be done in one sitting, but sometimes life gets in the way, you know. Life gets in the way and it can't be done all at once. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine to do. If you want to come back and do a little bit the day later or a week later, go for it. It took Michelangelo 15 years to paint the Sistine Chapel, which I'm going to go see soon. I am going to Rome for my birthday, which I can't wait. I'm going to take some sketch pads and sketch the Colosseum, and it's going to be wonderful. Of course, I'm going to sample all the delicacies, especially the beer, Beer Moretti, one of my favourite beers. Anyway, listen, I enjoy myself, and let's carry on with this mountain. Right. So we've got a little bit of a paler colour on, okay? I'm just going to whip that in there. Just push this bump right back there, like that. I want to scrape off most of the paint where the leaves are going to be as well. Okay, so let's pale it off a little bit more. That's that highlight colour, okay? Highlight colour. And look how it's not mixing. We're not icing cakes or anything like that. It's breaking perfectly. So we can even add another layer, a lighter shade of blue on there. A lighter shade of blue will do lovely. There, like so. That's that, I think, there. We'll have a look in a moment. Good a bit of advice is, if you're not happy, or if you just want to, just take a step back. Okay, if you can't, my nose is virtually touching the canvas, so I can't really see what I'm doing. I know halfway sideways on as well, so that never really helps. But if you want to take a step back, 6 foot back is probably a really nice area to go, where you can see the canvas properly in its whole glory. And then as I get closer to it, like where we are now, right on top of it, right on top of the canvas, it starts looking more and more like a painting, and the image that you've got in your mind from far back just slightly starts to break up. It's really epic. It really is. Anyway, we've got some shadow work there. Okay, shadow work there. Let me wipe the knife. Let me wipe the knife. I'm going to grab a bit of pure white, okay? Pure white. Titanium white. A little roll of titanium white. And I'm just going to come up here and touch the tops of this mountain. And the rock work will show through, but it will also give the indication of a nice bit of snow that's clinging out here. Clinging on. Maybe the snow has melted, maybe it's springtime. It's certainly springtime where I'm at now. Oh, it's warm outside. But just a little bit of snow. You see those colours that we're putting on there, the whites, the browns, the blues, and you've got the dark undercolour from the acrylic. It all works. It all goes well for you. You just got the contrast of black and white and light blue, you know, though looks good, this gives it a bit more variety. And that's what sells paintings. A bit of variety. A bit of a snowbank there. Just play. Just chill. Just play and chill. Okay, we'll go in there. Right the way down. Across there like that. And that's out to nothing. A little bit of out to nothingness. Do we need a bit of snow up here? Maybe just a touch. Maybe just a touch. Like that. Okay. Now, I think we're nearly done with those mountains, which is pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to ease something there. Put something in. We've got a little bit of liquid white underneath, so it doesn't too matter, but we're going to create the illusion of mist, because we want these mountains misted up. So I am putting a bit of white. Does help the process, but if you've got an absolute ton of liquid white underneath, That'll help as well. Okay, just clean off the palette knife. Get rid of that. Brushed with a liquid white on. Okay, and I'm just going to tap. Tap at the base. Okay, tap at the base and create the illusion of mist. And sneak up the side of the mountains. Follow the angles. As we know, follow the angles of the mountains. And there, we've got it. We've got it, haven't we? Beautiful little mountain. That's just sat there with a perfect view of the world. There. Just tease up, tease up, tease up, tease up. Okay. Now, I think we're ready. Just clean the brush off, maybe grab a bit more colour. I think we're ready to put a little bit of midground in. There, like that. That's it. Let's go for the midground. Okay, let's work on the midground. So I'm going to take a fan brush and a little bit of pale green colour, okay? And we're going to create lots and lots of little areas in the snow. Now, again, we've got to work on highlight and shadow. So it probably wants to be a little bit more bluer in the shadow side, okay? And I'm just using the bend or the curve of the fan brush to create lots of little humps and bumps. Okay, I'm working on the shadow side first. Just tap them in, maybe pull some into the snow like that. Just see a little few dots and dibs up there, maybe some of the background there. Not too fussed because we know we're going to have these big trees up there as well. Right, touch more because we're in the highlight side. Just a touch of yellow added to that. And it'll only be very subtle, but you'll be able to see it when the composition's finished. You might be able to see it now. Okay. You think, oh, that looks a little bit lighter. That's in the shadow. That's in the highlight side. A bit more paint. Don't be stingy on paint. Okay. There we go. All these kind of little things. Maybe they're creeping up there like that. And then just lose them in the mist. Just lose them as we go away from you. You want your edges to be misty anyway. You want your edges of a painting to kind of feather out into nothing. Keep your eye on the focal point, okay? Where we've got a strong one there, just pull it into the mist, into that snow. There, like that. Maybe there's one that comes across there now, like that. There, like that. And if you want, you can grab the brush and just lift up very slightly. Give yourself a little bit of something. Looks like far away trees. Okay, let's put another one there. Far away trees. Remember, as our horizon line is pretty low, which means we're stood virtually on ground level, which means as trees are gonna that far away are gonna look really microscopic. Okay. There, like that. Okay. I think we've got it for some midground stuff. Okay. Maybe let's pull some of this down into the water, yeah? Pull a little bit of this greeny colour down into the water, just for a little bit of reflection. So just pull some of that straight down. Go all the way across, pull straight down, like that. Again, I'm not too fussed at the edges, but we'll just go for it anyway. And then just gently go across the thing, like that. Reflections, we're wet on wet, possibly the most perfect thing you could do. There, like so. Now, many folk put a waterline there. I don't think I'm going to. I'll have a look back, I'll have a look in a moment, step back, see if it needs a waterline or not. But I don't like a big, thick, white bar going across my compositions. But if you want to put one in, just do it, because it does look okay. Okay, but for me, I don't want it. I just want it to go into nothing. There, like so. Right, let's work. Now we've got his water in place. We might come back with that water, but we want something down here. So we want some of those greens. Let's pick up a bit of a stronger green. Maybe not that strong, but what we're going to do is just fill all this area in with many different colours, yellows as well. Okay, if we've got a bit of snow on the mountain, we may need a bit of snow down in the ground, but we'll work on that in a bit. Okay, where the sunlight is shining, we want a bit of grass, don't we? So let's just put some grassy colours down. This looks a mess at the moment. Go over your rocks. It looks a mess, but trust me, it'll work. It'll work. Let's put some grassy colours. Yellows, greens, blues, browns, blacks, everything. Just throw it in. A little bit of randomness, okay? And where we're going to put a snow, if we've got some snow up there, we've just got to work on it, haven't we? Maybe have a bit of snow here, maybe not there. All right, with the grasses completely covered, let's get rid of that brush. Just take an older dry fan brush, and all I'm going to do is just going to push up, okay? Push up the colours and merge them together. Take the lights into the darks and the darks into the lights. But when you get a big build up of colour, just wipe the brush clean and then start on again. And just do this. This creates a lot of lovely looking grass effects this close in the foreground. It wants to be lighter at the edge and darker down in the right at the very base of the canvas, basically. And we can also add a little bit more colour if we need to. I'm going to go over the rocks because we haven't even started the rocks yet. I don't want any white parts of the canvas showing through, but just really scrape up bigger strokes as you get towards the foreground, just like so. Just carry on doing this till you've completed the whole grassy area, and trust me, it looks smart. It looks smart. Don't forget those areas. Those areas are important as well. Burnt sienna. Okay, a bit of burnt sienna, a bit of burnt umber, a bit of black. A little rounded brush. Let's work on these rocks now. Okay. So, I'm just going to, again, just scrub in over the rocky shape that we painted with the acrylics, and just put in some more colour just there like that. Most of it's painted in for us. All we have to do is just colour it in over top of that grass as well. Don't worry about that because we can neaten all that up as we go along, you see, as we play with the colour. All right, so this is one of those rocks that looks like a turtle shell, okay, if you know what I mean, okay, but all they are is basically smaller versions of the mountain, okay. In fact, you don't even have to put this colour in. We've got the brown stony colours already on, but we're gonna do anyway. We'll just put some of this on where the stones are gonna live, just like that. Okay, and we had another one there, didn't we? I seem to have lost a lot in the grass, but that doesn't matter. You can see through the grass. You'll pick up a few little stones. Anyway, there's about three piles of rubble, okay, and we haven't forgot about us tree trunks yet. Okay, let's just wipe off any excess paint we've got on a paper towel. Okay, and I'm going to take a couple of different colours. We need a shadow side and a highlight side for the stones as well. So the first colour I've got is a little bit of a stony mixture. Okay, this is just some of the browns, whites, a bit of yellow thrown in there as well. Whatever dirty colour we've got on the brush as well. Get plenty of paint. Okay, and I'm holding the paintbrush like this, and I'm just going to work, just tease. Now you can do this with a palette knife. You can do this with any instrument that you want, really. I even know an artist that does this with the fingers. Okay, so anything goes, really. Anything goes, as long as you're comfortable and it works for you. That's all that matters. Okay, there we go. And you can roll these rounded brushes over as you go. Gives you some more paint, gives you a bit more texture. Okay, and down into the grass. We're not too fussed, are we? In the grassy areas like that. All right, now we've got the shadow side to paint. Okay, I'll just do one for you, okay, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Okay, so what I'm going to do, take a little bit of grey blue colour. Okay, so this is just blue, brown and plenty of white. Okay, it's a cooler colour than the browns that we've got. Plenty of paint. Roll the brush around. This is a very old round brush which works. Okay, and again we're just going to teeter it on, roll, twiggle, just like this, and we're picking out some of the highlights of the shadow, if that makes sense. You see, your shadows need highlights too. Okay, and the basic stonework is the shadow, isn't it? The deep shadow, the stony colour that we put on initially. Okay, and work that into the grasses, a little bit on this one. There, like that. And good thing about a brush is that you can really twiddle about and get in there. All right, a bit there as well. Maybe a bit in there. Like that. So there we've got a couple of colours on the stone, but we're not going to leave it at that, are we? We want another colour or two on there. So again, just wipe the brush. You could wash the brush if you want, but I'm just going to wipe it off on a paper towel. And I'm going to grab a little bit of pale yellow. Okay, so this is just yellow, cad yellow and white. Okay, just a bit, just a touch. Okay, and here and there I'm just going to put this on and sparkle off some of this edge. Now, I don't want much, just the tiniest amount, just to show that there's something there. There, like that. Okay, if you overcook that, if you overdo that, then it loses its effectiveness. There we go, like that. Maybe it comes up there. Okay, so that's basically how we've made a nice big stone. So repeat that process on the rest of the work. Okay, so you just neaten up the feet of the stones with a little bit of grassy colour, just like that. Now, let's work on the trees. You don't have to paint the tree trunk in first before putting the foliage on. Okay, I know a lot of people have been commenting on some videos that I've been making lately that you should paint the trunk first and then put the foliage on. You don't really have to do that. It's however you see fit. We have got as indications as where our tree trunks are going to be. What I'm going to get is a rounded brush, and I'm going to basically, all I do is dip one corner into some dark green, the other corner into some light green. Can you see that? Okay, and then work up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because there's lights coming from the right hand side, is I'm going to hit with the light green part of the brush. Okay, just like so, and it'll naturally pull off some of that darker green on the far side of the brush. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to make lots of little umps and bumps of foliage as we go along. Let's go along there like so, and then as you get, let's say you want this part a little bit darker because it's in shadow, just hit it with the other side of the brush, just like that. And then you can link all these together with branches and trunks and other things like that. I don't know what other things hold leaves up, but but you get the gist. Okay, keep reloading the brush as well. Okay, a little bit of the light green, a little bit of the dark green, and then just work your way down the tree. Okay, so we'll have another one there, just like so. Okay, I like this big rounded brush because you can roll it around like this, and you get both sides of the foliage done. Okay, that easy. Now, you've seen me do these plenty of times. Plenty of my short videos on YouTube show you how to make these. So all I'm going to do is just carry on doing this, and I might change the colour slightly for that, just to give us a little bit of differentiation. That's a word, probably isn't. What this foliage needs is just a bit of very dark colour, so blue and black on a filbert brush, and just really sculpt out some of the really deep shadows. Just tap on with a filbert brush. Okay, that tree was made using the half round brush, but I was just pushing it upwards, you see, so very similar. Just instead of down, you go up. Just a bit of a variation, but I want some deep dark shadows. Now it just looks like blobs of yellow and blue, green paint just up here in just various shades, and it will all change. It just instantly come alive with the introduction of, well, obviously shadow, but obviously the things that are going to hold them up, tree trunks and stuff. Use this very loosely as well. Hold it pretty far down. Okay, I used to say you've got to have the back end of the brush in your palm of your hand like that. It gives you a little bit more looser feel to it. So, in fact, that works really good, doesn't it? You know, same on this tree as well. Even though I've done some, don't forget. Okay, and you don't really want one brush to finish your foliage off, just like the grasses as well. Remember, we put it on with a fan brush and then use a different style to shape and sculpt the grass. Same with what we're doing on the foliage. You see, we're using another brush, and we'll probably use a liner brush towards the end, pull out a lot of little leaves, you know, just here and there, just to give it that little zing. Anyway, I think we're about ready for a little bit of tree trunk action. Sienna burnt umber, bit of black, rounded brush again, just like the rocks, I suppose. And let's start off with this tree. Okay, now I'm going to bring this down and roll it around. Maybe this brush might be a little too small for what we're after just yet, but it may work for the branches. In fact, we'll just carry on with this anyway. We're in no rush. We're having a good time, yeah? We're having a good time. Okay, just sculpt out your tree, and usually the trunks are fatter at the base, around near the feet, and thinner towards the top. You get that right, you can't really go wrong. Well, I have seen some which are quite fat at the top. I think they're unique to Africa, I think, these other kind of trees. Anyway, let's put some limbs on this tree. So I want this one to start off about there, carve its way in. Remember, tree trunks and branches, they come out towards us as well as to the side. So just remember that when we're painting. Okay, this is going to be a big fat branch just there. It's going to come up across there like that, following the guidelines that we put on. But if we don't follow those, it doesn't matter. They're in the background like that, and we'll carry this on. This is where this little round brush comes into its own, because you can sneak in and around the foliage, you see. Then you're not painting over your tree. So there, a bit there. We had something here, didn't we? And it goes up there. A bit of a curl. Okay, and then down like so. Obviously we need something to hold this lot up with, so we'll start off here and we'll carve this in, and we'll come across there, leave that a bit, and then join that branch there. Good stuff, good stuff. Maybe, yeah, we need something from the side here. Where's this going to go? We don't know. Does it go back into the foliage? It does now. There, a little bit of a branch there. Okay, same on to the other side. I'm going to add a little bit more red. Slightly different tree. It's not red, actually. It's burnt sienna, I think. Okay, and I'm just going to plough this on there like that, and just really push this in. And same principle again, in and out of the foliage like that, and then it comes up, maybe a little bit of something there. I like thick bark as well. I like the bark to be really thick, really thick. Okay, work on you in a moment. I'll work on this one soon. I just want to show you this tree. Okay, you get carried away though. You get carried away and you can't stop. Okay, right. Let's just put another branch. I just see something there that it needs to come across and down into the foliage there. Like that. Okay. Let's just get rid of all this paint that's on the brush. Like so. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit. So let's just put the palette down. Get a cloth. Wipe the brush. Now I haven't put any thinned out twigs on there yet, but I will. Okay, let's pick up a little bit of light colour. This is just white and a bit of brown I'm mixing up there. Okay, just similar to the stone colour, I suppose. And I'm just going to graze the highlight side of the tree. Okay, and then I'm just going to tease that back. And it looks like it's got a big foot that comes down there. Now it's nice to put this on with a palette knife as well. I really like painting bark with a palette knife because it gets really thick. Okay, just tease that in. Tease. Don't go all the way across because we want the shadow side of the trunk to show as well. And then we'll put some in here. So every branch needs a bit more colour. So a little bit of highlight, a little bit of shadow, and we're ready to rock and roll. So I make the shadow colour out of a bit of blue and black, and maybe even a touch of purple in there. Just load this up. Just twizzle, like that. That'll make that tree bark, that branch, look like it's coming slightly out towards us. We'll do the same on this one. Plenty of paint. Don't be stingy on the paint. Really get in there and make the branch pop out. Like that. Okay, looks like it's missing something. It's missing several things actually. It's missing shadows and twigs, but keep at it. Like so, yeah. I'm liking it. In fact, we're going to have one that comes down there. Maybe that just joins up. Okay, wipe the brush. Now a bit of black and blue. And we can work on the shadow side. Okay, so straight down there. Plenty of paint. And a bit down there as well. Just keep working at this till you get it to the colour and the desire that you need. Bit of shadow in there. There's going to be lots of deep shadows on this back around about there and in there as well. And obviously this needs some, like that. Just keep going. Let's do this one. Looks like it could do with a limb coming off that, so we'll sort that out. But once you're happy with all your highlights, shadows, mid-tones and all that lot, then we can just slightly blend the thing together. Okay, a bit more black and blue. Yeah. Like that. Plenty of paint. Plenty. Just come down there like that. Maybe there's a couple of little tiny holes in the tree there, like so. Like that. So on the ends of the trees, just where we've got the leaves, we can just put in a few dots and dabs of various greens. Dots and dabs or commas or whatever we call them, just to give the indication of some little distant leaves that are hanging off these branches. You can see I've used a liner brush just to put in a few twigs and stuff like that down there. And then same colours you can just put down here and add some grasses, make them big and long because it's in the foreground. Go over the stones. And I've also took the liberty of taking a little bit of crimson and just putting a few little flowers down in the foreground. A few little crimson flowers just down in the foreground. There we go. I think we've got a finished composition. I think it's a beautiful painting, a nice little springtime glade out in the mountains. If this acrylic undercoat for the mountains works for you, please let me know. If you've liked the video, give it a big old thumbs up, leave me a nice comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, happy days.